Hello and welcome back to Children's Reading Cove. This is Chapter 9 of Dragon Master's Search for the Lightning Dragon. Chapter 9, Dragons Aren't Real. Come, have a seat, Carlos's grandmother said. I am Nita, and this is my grandson, Carlos. She shuffled to a rickety table in the center of the one-room cottage. Drake, Diego, and Carlos followed her and sat down. Drake noticed there wasn't much other furniture except for two straw beds, but the room was scrubbed clean. Please, tell me, why has a wizard come to our simple cottage? Nita asked. Her dark eyes gleamed with excitement as she looked at Diego. He's not a wizard, Abuela. He's a storyteller, Carlos interrupted. These two were talking about dragons. We do have a story to tell you, young man, Diego said, leaning forward. But it is a true story. A new dragon hatched a few days ago, a lightning dragon, and the Dragonstone has chosen you to be his master. Carlos shook his head. Dragons aren't real. Diego looked at Drake. Show him the stone. Drake took the piece of the Dragonstone from his pocket and held it out to Carlos. See? It's like mine. I was chosen too, just like you. My Dragonstone helps me connect with my dragon. If you have a dragon, then where is he? Carlos asked. Come with us, and we can show you, Diego said. Carlos folded his arms. Are you kidding? I'm not going anywhere with you two. Drake looked at Diego. I have an idea, he said. Drake closed his eyes. He touched his Dragonstone. He wasn't sure if he could contact Worm from so far away. Then the stone began to glow. Worm, can you hear me? Drake asked in his mind. If you can, please find me. I am at Carlos's cottage by the sea. I'll be outside in the back. To his surprise, Worm replied right away. I will find you. Drake opened his eyes. Come outside. Carlos didn't move, but his grandmother poked his arm. Go, Carlos. With a sigh, he stepped outside with Drake and Diego. A cloud of light was shimmering behind the cottage. Then Worm appeared. Drake looked at Carlos. The boy's mouth was wide open. It's a trick, Carlos said. Drake walked to Worm and hugged his neck. No, it's not. He's real, and he's friendly. Come see. Carlos slowly walked up to Worm, his eyes wide. He put his hand on Worm's neck. So many scales, he whispered to himself. After a minute, Carlos turned to Diego. This is all real, isn't it? He said. You're a real wizard, and this is a real dragon. As real as rain, Diego said. Drake smiled. He held out the Dragonstone again. This time, Carlos took it. He put the chain around his neck. So what does it mean to be a dragon master? Carlos asked.
You will need to come with us to the kingdom of Bracken, Diego replied. You will live at the castle and learn how to work with your dragon.
Carlos looked back at the cottage. My grandmother is my only family. Who will fetch the water for her and bring wood for the fire? I'm sorry, but I can't leave her. Drake knew how Carlos felt. It had not been easy to leave his mother, but at least he knew his brothers would take care of her. Drake couldn't tell Carlos to leave his grandmother. It just didn't feel right. But how will we catch the lightning dragon without him? Drake wondered. Suddenly, there was a loud boom. Drake looked at the sky. Great clouds were quickly moving in. Rain started to shower down. The boats! Carlos cried. I must help the fishermen. Then he ran toward the sea. End of chapter 9. We'll see you soon for chapter 10. Bye-bye.